My friends, you're back. It's time for the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW, and today let's talk about some tag team wrestling. Why are we talking about tag team wrestling? Well, I'll get to that. But first, make sure you hit that bell on YouTube and get notified whenever new videos go live, or subscribe to the audio version of this podcast on any and all podcasting platforms. Tag teams. The Usos are defending their SmackDown World Tag Team Championships versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Now, Braun Strowman and Ricochet got thrown together after, I think it was way back in, was it Crown Jewel or something like that? Braun Strowman faced Omos and sent out a weird tweet about people not wanting to watch flippy floppers flop around or whatever. And he got some heat for it because, of course he did. And as a quote unquote punishment, or maybe this was all a work now that I'm looking back on it, he faced Ricochet in the Intercontinental the World Cup, I think it was called, the WWE World Cup, and the winner would win a giant trophy and then get a shot at Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. So Braun Strowman sent out the tweet, quote unquote, got, heat, and then faced Ricochet, who is a flippy flopper, quote unquote, and lost, took an L to the flippy flopper. Now, at the time I was like, oh, maybe that was their way of kind of showing him, not respect, but having him show some respect to the other people in the locker room by taking an L to the type of wrestler that he was taking a shot at. But it then formed itself into this weird alliance where Ricochet and Braun Strowman would trade saving each other from Gunther and the Imperium. Also, can we give a shout out to Imperium and Gunther for their amazing entrance? What a fantastic entrance they have on wrestling. And since that event happened with Ricochet and Braun Strowman, they've formed this unlikely alliance where they're now this, formidable tag team, it seems. And then they got kind of thrust into the tournament, the tag team tournament for the SmackDown Championships, when Hit Row and the Viking Raiders beat up, I'm blanking on the name of these, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. So they got plugged in, and now they won their match against Hit Row, and now they're facing the Usos. I was skeptical about the formation of that tag team, but then I was like, well, what makes a good tag team? And I think I've done an episode on this. I said it was having tag team moves together, having a synchronized moveset. And oddly enough, these two who were basically thrown together do have a moveset that they've kind of worked out together, where Braun Strowman, and of course, they are the epitome of kind of pro wrestling, little guy, big guy teams versus, or, David and Goliath matchups. They have some story behind them, how they got together, and now they're working together to kind of win these titles. And again, I was saying, well, what makes a great tag team? And outside of just having a moveset that is, tailor-made for this team, it is having a story backing up why they are a team. I think a big portion of or a big reason why some tag teams, or most tag teams, fail to gain any traction is because there's no reason they should be together. One day, two wrestlers are together, trying to make it work, and then one day they're not. Sometimes it works. People like Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura just worked because they played off each other really well. And Steve Blackman and Al Snow worked because, again, they played really well off each other, with Steve Blackman being the ultimate straight man, with Al Snow being just the weirdest dude. And the interplay, the odd coupling of that team was the reason why they worked. And the reason why Braun Strowman and Ricochet is working for me now is because they actually have some, couple of months working together. We've watched the formation. We've watched them kind of help each other out. And now the fact that they are a team and they're winning together and they're stronger together, it makes them more formidable. So much so that I kind of hope they win the championship, the SmackDown championship from the Usos, if only to uncouple those titles from the Usos right now. The Usos are going into this match with Jey Uso, still reeling from the Royal Rumble match and Sami Zayn's betrayal or whatnot. So his head might not be in the game, and they won't have Sami there to kind of back them up. So it might be just Solo. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. It's an exciting time going into Elimination Chamber, because if they do lose these championships, then we're going into WrestleMania with what I would assume would be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the Raw Tag Team Champions, which would effectively bring Sami Zayn over to Raw with Kevin Owens as the new tag team champs, and then leave the bloodline kind of in shambles a bit. I kind of hope Ricochet and Braun Strowman take the titles away, if only for the slim fact that or the slim chance that we will get Braun Strowman and Ricochet wearing matching gear. I'm a sucker for matching tag team or faction gear, like the New Day all dressing alike, or even the Viking Raiders being a solidified team, dressed like Vikings for some reason in 2023. And even like the Brawling Brutes, where they had all the suspenders in their hats and whatnot. I'm a sucker for matching attire. And if Braun Strowman and Ricochet can kind of get their stuff together, and maybe Braun Strowman's skinny jeans have like a high flyer on it or something, and Ricochet has some big dude on his thing, whatever the case may be, if they can become tag champs and then match up their gear and then be like a legit walking powerhouse team, because again, the coupling of this team makes sense for the story, but also their movesets match or complement one another, right? So when Ricochet will start the match off, and then he'll take the beating, and then he'll tag in, he'll hot tag in Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman will clear the ring. Maybe Braun Strowman gets double teamed, and he gets beat down, and then he tags in Ricochet, who then explodes with all this crazy energy, and they take and then they do their finishing move, where he basically climbs up on Braun Strowman's shoulders and does a flip off of him. Can we also just give some I'm gonna have the whole episode for this, but can we give some flowers to Ricochet? That man he defies the laws of gravity. He doesn't make any sense to me. He's not a young man either. He's not a 20-something-year-old dude. I believe he's in his mid-30s, almost 40, and still flipping around like that. I mean, that is a huge. I mean, I can barely walk, and I'm pretty sure we're close in age. I think I was saying this to myself, because who else would I talk to? But if they were to just put Ricochet in a comprehensive like improv class for a month, and then get him a really good character actor coach, someone who's coached up famous character actors in Hollywood. Man, I feel like that this thing goes off all the time now. As someone who's coached really good character actors over the years, and just get his mic skills up to par, where he can banter with people more organically. I think the reason people say Ricochet can't really cut great promos is because I don't think he's super comfortable in his own skin when he starts talking. You can see it in the way he speaks. He's putting something on versus being natural. So if he were to just have some classes to get that part of him worked out, man, he would be, slap every title on that dude, because he does some crazy stuff. Anyway, what do you guys think of the coupling of Braun Strowman and Ricochet? Do you want them to have the titles? And if not, who should take the titles off of the Usos before WrestleMania, if anyone? It's back day, so I'm off to lift some weights. Make sure you hit the bell, subscribe, tell a friend or two about the show, and don't you ever forget.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.